Hello people, my name's Jim and you have landed on Planet Rewind, and the atmosphere is full of nostalgic movie reviews, rankings and discussions, so be sure to subscribe and we can look back together. It is Monday, and what do we do on Mondays on Planet Rewind? We talk about James Bond, and in this case, in front of my computer again, I'm going to be looking at a list from Screen Rant, which is the 10 actors who are almost cast as Bond villains. Let me know if you like these list videos in the comments. Let me know what you think of these 10 actors considered for Bond villains. I love finding out about the Bond franchise. I love discussing the Bond franchise, quite frankly. So let's look through this list. Number 10, Orson Welles as Goldfinger. Oh my word. Now obviously Orson Welles is one of the greatest directors and actors of all time. And you know what? Imagine it if he'd have played Goldfinger. Like, you'd have Sean Connery and Orson Welles. That is mental star power. And Gert Frobe, of course, went on to play Goldfinger in one of the most memorable James Bond performances. So they didn't get this iconic actor, but they did get a pretty darn good, menacing performance.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Of course, Orson Welles did play a James Bond villain in the James Bond spoof Casino Royale. Yeah, before Daniel Craig's Casino Royale, there was an absolutely bonkers Casino Royale starring Peter Sellers, believe it or not. Number 9, Rutger Hauer as General Orlov. So this is the villain from Octopussy, and Rutger Hauer, you know what, I love Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner, The Hitcher, Split Second, an underrated movie you should definitely check out, nostalgic 90s movie. Rutger Hauer has this kind of unique edge to him. He kind of reminds me almost of a Crystal Walken, or that kind of actor. He's got that kind of menacing, living on the edge type thing. And you know what, I didn't find the guy that memorable in Octopussy, so you know what, if it was Rutger Hauer, that would have been really, really cool. We've never really had James Bond where the big Bond actor Roger Moore or Sean Connery has a gigantic equal star play the villain. I don't think we've never really had it. I guess GoldenEye, Pierce Brosnan and Sean Bean were kind of equal actors, but other than that, Bond is always a bigger star than the villain, it seems. I guess you could say Donald Pleasance and Sean Connery, but I'd probably say Sean Connery was bigger than Pleasance. Number 8, David Bowie as Max Zorin. Oh my god, I love Max Zorin. I think he's one of the best James Bond villains. Christopher Walken is just psychotic in A View to a Kill. He is classic Walken. It makes his character in Batman Returns look like he should be petting puppies. You know, this character's insane. He guns down all his men near the end. That's how much of a nutty crackers maniac he is. David Bowie, man. Like, David Bowie, I like him as an actor. I like The Man Who Fell to Earth. I like Labyrinth. I don't really want to replace Walken as Zorin, but alternative universe, it would have been incredible to see David Bowie play that role.
If she ever kisses you, I'll turn you into a prince.
You will?
Prince of the land of stench.
The Bond producers were determined to get a pop star in the cast of A View to a Kill to attract younger viewers. This is why Grace Jones ended up appearing in the movie. Bowie turned it down because he didn't like the script and he wanted to star in Labyrinth instead. My man. The role was also offered to Mick Jagger and Sting before Christopher Walken was cast. Mick Jagger and Sting, they sound like ludicrous suggestions, but Sting did a great gangster movie called Stormy Monday, which I recommend you guys check out, which has also got Sean Bean in. And Mick Jagger done a gangster movie, The Performance, which is great as well, or The Performance. You should check that out too. So they were good actors. Some musicians can be good actors, guys. Number 7, Reno as Renard. Main antagonist in The World Is Not Enough, an ex-KGB agent who became a tech-savvy terrorist, was played by Trainspotting's Robert Carlyle, who I think is actually not an underrated Bond villain. I think the script is the problem in The World Is Not Enough. Before Carlyle was cast, Jean Reno was offered the part, but he turned it down due to personal reasons. Javier Bardem was also considered, but he go on to play the villain in Skyfall. Jean Reno, what has he done? I actually don't know the actor. So Jean Reno was in The Professional, Leon, which I still haven't seen. It's an essential movie, I think. I haven't seen it. James Bond versus Leon. But, Robert Carlyle, I think he was a good choice. It's just that the script was an absolute load of old arse. Number 6, Al Pacino as General Medrano. Yes, Al Pacino as a James Bond villain. I can't crystallise how much I want to see that. Although Dominic Green is the main villain in Quantum of Solace, I don't even remember the villain in Quantum of Solace. You know, I don't mind the movie, but there was no defined kind of real villain. Or there was, I guess there was, but it's such a forgettable movie, Quantum of Solace, now I look back. I did rate it okay, but I feel like villains wise it's not a very memorable Bond film. I don't remember this villain. Dominic Green played the main villain in Quantum of Solace. For Mexican actor Joaquin Cosio was chosen for the role. The producers considered Al Pacino. Al Pacino versus Daniel Craig, I'm in. Number 5, Jack Palance as Scaramanga. Oh my god, I'm loving these guys. You know, but it's strange because a lot of these, you know, like David Bowie and Christopher Walken, you put in actors who I liked in the role against another actor I would like in the role. Jack Palance is awesome. Obviously, he's, you know, in Batman 1989, but he also played Dracula in a fantastic Dracula movie, which you should check out. It's good. It's really good. But Scaramanga is one of my favourite James Bond villains. It's why I rate The Man with the Golden Gun as quite a high Bond film, because I love Christopher Lee as, you know, he's kind of obsessed with James Bond, and obviously he carries around the golden gun. He's just got that unique edge for a James Bond villain. It was a great kind of hitman for Bonds to be pursued by, and Bond's looking for him too. I love that element of The Man with the Golden Gun. Jack Palance as Scaramanga, you know, let's have a look. The role was offered to Jack Palance before it was offered to Lee. Palance turned it down, probably because the script was laughably ridiculous. Oh, don't be harsh on The Man with the Golden Gun. It feels like two movies. Like when it first starts, you're like, oh my god, Roger Moore's Bond is going to pursue this hitman who's after him. And then the second half of the movie is this kind of bonkers, crazy, like ridiculous film with one of the worst Bond girls of all time. But I forgive it because Christopher Lee is so good in it and Roger Moore's great in it. But Jack Palance, you know, he's just got that unnerving menace to him, I think. He's a very charismatic actor. I would have been interested in seeing him as Scaramanga, but Christopher Lee, for me, is one of the best James Bond villains. You know, whatever you say about The Man with the Golden Gun, it's got one of the best Bond villains. James Mason as Karl Stromberg. So this is the kind of, the guy who kind of popularised the Bond villain prototype in a way. I know we have Blofeld, but the villain in The Spy Who Loved Me was this ridiculous kind of guy who was just like, I'm going to restart the world. Why are you doing that, mate? Just want to. I don't like how the world's turned out, so I'm just going to fucking burn it down and start again. That's literally what he's planning. He was planning to just rebuild the world with his underwater madness plan. Like, I don't know what he was thinking, but it was quite a decent performance from Kurt Jurgens as Karl Stromberg. But James Mason was also considered for the role of Stromberg. Mason was later considered to play Hugo Drax in the following movie, Moonraker. So he got considered for 2 parts. Who is James Mason? I'm going to embarrass myself here. Not knowing Jean Reno and not knowing James Mason. I bet he's been in something I bet he's been in the biggest film of all time. James Mason's been in Lolita, North by Northwest, still haven't seen it. A Star is Born, Julius Caesar, The Verdict. So he hasn't been in like loads of massive films, but he's been in a few iconic ones. Okay. Number 3, Faye Dunaway as Octopussy. You know, Maud Adams, who was Octopussy, it was weird with her because with The Man with the Golden Gun, she's in it. She's in The Man with the Golden Gun as a Bond girl. Only actress in history to be recast as a different Bond girl later on. I don't know why it happened. So maybe because they just thought she was really great, but I kind of don't agree with that. I don't think they should have recast her. I think she's okay in Octopussy, but Faye Dunaway. Critics were divided by Maud Adams' portrayal of the titular role in Octopussy. One wonders how the character would have been played if Faye Dunaway had been cast. Dunaway was too expensive, so the producers had to reconsider. Chinatown. Oh, there you go. I know her straight away now. Chinatown, Network, yeah. Supergirl, I know it. I know her, guys. I know her. She would have been good, actually. This is the first one on the list where I'm saying yes. She should have got it over Maud Adams, because she's a great actress. Maud Adams had come back. We didn't need it, and she wasn't that good as Octopussy anyway. Number 2, Gary Oldman as Blofeld. If I could do that thing that people do, you know, what is that? I need to do something. I need to give you guys a high five. Gary Oldman as Blofeld, you know, instead of Christoph Waltz. Yes, all day, every day. I like Christoph Waltz's portrayal as Blofeld, but Gary Oldman, man. Gary Oldman. Oldman has played 4 of cinema's greatest villains: Norman Stansfield, Drexel Spivey, Count Dracula and Lee Harvey Oswald, so he'd undoubtedly have delivered a fantastic portrayal of Blofeld. Gary Oldman was considered, but Christoph Waltz got the role, who previously played an iconic, sinister villain in Inglourious Basterds. I don't care. I love Christoph Waltz, but if you throw Gary Oldman in there for me as Blofeld, yes, mate, yes. Gary Oldman for me, you know, the best Commissioner Gordon. I love a lot of his movies. Yes, he just sounds great for the name of Blofeld. Yes, guys. Number 1, Frank Sinatra as Hugo Drax. Frank Sinatra, man, as Hugo Drax. That is crackers. Is it crackers enough that it could work? I know Frank Sinatra was a big actor. I haven't seen a lot of Frank Sinatra's films. I don't really view him as a James Bond villain, and I quite like Hugo Drax, even though Moonraker isn't great. Quite like Hugo Drax. Frank Sinatra, that would have made Moonraker even more mental than it already was. I think I've seen a Frank Sinatra film. I think I've seen it. I've got to be right about this. Yeah, Von Ryan's Express, there you go. There you go, guys. I have seen a Frank Sinatra film and he is bloody good in it. Von Ryan's Express. Brilliant war film. Check it out. A great film. So, you know what? Based on seeing in Von Ryan's Express, you know, one thing I found out from looking at this list is that there's several musicians who could have been fantastic James Bond villains. I like Hugo Drax in Moonraker. I think he's over the top, and his demise is hilarious with how the way Bond kills him.
Heartbroken, Mr. Drax. Allow me. Take a giant step for mankind.
Where's Drax?
Oh, he had to fly.
It would have been a different character, I tell you, if Frank Sinatra played it. He wouldn't have been that kind of silly, over-the-top character. Maybe it would have given Moonraker a more serious edge, who knows. Let me know if you guys enjoy these kind of list videos where I'm sitting here with you guys going through the list. Screen Rant, 10 actors almost played James Bond villains. I'll put the list in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to Planet Rewind. I talk about nostalgic content all through the week. James Bond obviously today, and on Wednesday I'm going to be reviewing Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the absolutely bodacious sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I reviewed last week. And on Friday I'm going to be ranking the Karate Kid franchise, worst to best. Join me for that, you don't want to miss it. Why not check out the James Bond playlist? I talk about James Bond loads on this channel, and you can hear me drone on. You can engage with me about everyone's favourite secret agent. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.